Hello. I'm just doing some audio checks before we get everything together. Make sure everything's good. We will start the reviews at the top of the hour. Or I guess start of the hour.
But when white doesn't do this one, then of course black had the right to cut if black so chose, and black could choose. But this one turns back on the ladder. If black doesn't want to deal with the ladder, black can connect. Okay, so white played the ladder, and then this is where black starts to go a little bit wrong. This cut is not really a necessary exchange for black. It's a bit over aggressive. You play this type of way when white is surrounded and you're trying to falsify an eye. But here the plan should not necessarily be to falsify the eye. Right now, we have a ladder that looks something like this. This is a resource to black if black leaves it on the board, because it means if black ever plays anywhere around the triangle points. So it could be on the triangle points directly, or it could be any of the square points next to them. Any of these threaten to break this ladder, and if black can get another one in Sente, and like for example, let's say this was Sente against the corner and white had to answer, then black is going to be able to extract that stone at 3, and there's a very good argument that white A is going to be dead. And if white is like, oh crap, I have to capture, then all of a sudden this move at C8 that's usually an overplay had to be answered with a very low value move at white 2. White 2 capturing the one stone is going to make white closer to life, but it's not going to make white a lot of territory up there. The top was kind of no man's land for points anyway. So white's not really getting a lot of points taking that
Don't know how
stone.
to
White's
turn off my
only
headsets.
slightly improving the position of the top group. It's still not quite alive yet, but it's closer to living. And in exchange, black is getting quite a nice attack against white's bottom left corner. White would like to play A, but the attack coming is quite severe. And if white, for example, jumps, then black is able to block. It's quite good for black. So I think this exchange really benefited white a lot. The A stone itself is not particularly useful when white has the ability to escape. And overall...
Okay. So I'm in breakout room 1 this season, so that'll be something to remember, because I was not in last season, so I keep forgetting that I have to check that. Guys, I'm so tired. My cat woke me up at 5:30 a.m. this morning. I mean, it might have gotten launched for it, because the cat jumped on my belly, and apparently my hand was there. So I woke up, and apparently when I wake up, my arm moves. So I might have thrown the cat into the dresser. And then felt bad, made sure the cat was okay, and I could not go back to sleep. Showed that cat wake me up at 5:30 again. It is 5:57. 3 minutes till 6. And 6 is when we start the reviews. Yeah, cat woke me up at 5:30. I threw the cat into the dresser. Literally what happened. AM. Yeah, my plan was to get up at 8, not 5:30. So I am tired. Cat's fine. He immediately, like, within 5 minutes, he was back. He jumped back on top of me and laid down, like, on my chest and just went to sleep. And I'm like, you're a punk. Like, if it wasn't for him being, like, fluffy and pettable, wakes me up at 5:30 and then sleeps on top of me. Spoiled cat. I heard there's methods to, like, sleep only 4 hours and then do, like, 25-minute naps, every few hours. But, like, no. Oh, after lunch. Yeah, nap time. Dude, nap times are great. I miss nap time. Sometimes you just need that nap. I can't nap for more than an hour though. Like I don't nap every day, but when I do, I usually can't go for more than an hour. And then I wake up and I'm like, I'm just if I lay there, I'm gonna lay there and not sleep, so it'll just be a waste of my time. But I'm probably gonna go to bed early tonight for sure. Dude, I am so tired. Oh yeah, I mean, I had to do it too in kindergarten. I think I remember a little fold-out mat, and I laid on it. That's the only memory I have. All right. Hopefully my audio is coming through. It doesn't look like it. Maybe it is. I'm gonna test the audio real quick. Test 1, 2. Okay, I think we're good. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, cool. All right. 7.5 points. Nice.
Review started.
I like seeing close games. It means it was like a really good game, good match. Oh no. hmm do you know about the open corners, open sides? Okay. Have you ever seen this example? So this example it shows us a theory. The theory is the corners are more valuable because it takes less moves to surround the same amount of points. So it's 9 points, 9 points, 9 points. So working with the edges is a faster way to have a position. So typically, what we see is open corners first. So like you go for the empty corners first. So it's not impossible to play this way. This is a bit more aggressive, but it is unconventional. Okay. So this one I'm going to say I don't like, simply because it's one thing to be aggressive, but it's another to play on the slow side. So this is on the third line, so the right side's the smallest place to play. So first off, these two stones do want a base. So 2 jumps 3 to make some eye space. That way they're okay. Additionally, there's 2 open corners and 3 open sides. So this one right here is very slow. When you approach, you want to go 1 space away. The reason is because when they block, you don't have good liberties. And so you're a little bit squeezed here. Versus if you go here and they block, if you compare, the liberties for black are better here. Okay. Okay, for white, make sure you're watching your cutting points. This is very dangerous. So if I go here, 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 these two stones are a little difficult to handle. Not impossible, but it's very scary. So I think it's very natural to just connect your cutting points. I think I want to go here. My reasoning is when white blocks here, I want to fix my cut. But this one is nice for building more thickness, but the cost is you have to respond to the block, and now you have a cut. So when you have another issue, you want to get to that issue first. So this is more for developing, but you have a cutting point, which is more important. Okay, base is fine. 2 can jump 3. The idea is you can just push it into your 2 stones. So there's some Aji in here for sure, but I think we just need to learn how to handle it because this is a little bit passive. And if we never play the 3 space, then we'll never learn how to use it. White, take the open corner. If your opponent plays an unconventional type of game, then they're going to be better at it than you will. So your job as white would be to convert the game back to a normal position that you're used to, because if you try to match crazy with crazy, the person who is more experienced at crazy will out crazy you and win. So your job is to make it more basic, where your strong point is. So if someone has a crazy style or aggressive style or whatever, an abnormal style, then whoever can make the game go into their style will usually have an advantage. So for white, I would want to play basics, which is open corners. I'm assuming that's what white is probably good at. Okay. Typically, we don't touch stones like this. If you are wanting to get to the ice base, you could go like right here and then run away. However, touching is possible, but the follow-up is typically here. This is quite tricky for an 18Q though. So I think I'm going to recommend here and just start making eye shape and run away. Tiger's melts are great for making eyes, and then this is connected but with another tiger's mouth. So this way would be a very nice way to make an eye and run away. So I think that's going to be the simplest. But if you go here, then it's an empty triangle. This is not an eye. So that's a big difference. Okay. I like that you're staying connected, fixing cutting points, but you got to save your stuff. You invested, so you got to save it. Typically you might have the idea to sacrifice a stone, but what you're looking for is if black has cutting points after you connect, then it's worth saving. If nothing was wrong with black, then probably you could give it up. But keeping weakness in your opponent's shape makes it easier to defend yourself. But here, black has no weaknesses, so it's a little bit more difficult to defend yourself. So black is definitely much better here. 1 point jumps. Play it. Love it. It's an amazing shape. 1 point jumps are your friend. You can 1 point jump your way to single digit Q. If you want to move left, you want to go as fast as you can without getting cut. And the big key is don't get cut. So pushing from behind is typically not recommended unless you have to. If you 1 point jump, then that's usually not good because of the cutting points. Sometimes it can be, but most of the time it's not. So you check the knight's move, and with the knight's move, the big key is to make sure you check this cut. As long as you can capture the cutting stone, then you can play a knight's move, and now you're moving left 2 lines at a time instead of 1 line at a time, so it's a bit faster. Okay. Open quarter's good. Just go 3rd line. 1-point jump to single digit Q, I think, is a good strategy, because this one has a lot of scary. Oh, not that. A lot of scary variations to learn, and then you also have to learn like how this operates. So there's a lot of weakness right here. So I'd be wary of that. Black, I like that you're making a base. I would go 4th line here because you have support, so you can develop. Down here, you didn't have support, so you want to settle. 3rd line for settle, 4th line for develop. Okay. I think someone studied a Joseki and is misremembering it. Don't misremember Josekis. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt because this is technically a move in a specific Joseki that is not here. This is not it, but I know it is a move in a variation, so I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt that you studied that and that's how you came up with that. But you're not pincered, so you don't need it. I highly encourage you to master the fundamentals over memorizing Josekis, because misremembering a Joseki is worse than not knowing the Joseki. Okay, because you'll play a weird shape that won't do any of the job that you need it to do. So right here, the big thing is you want to fix this weakness. So this fixes it, and it's super easy. So it fixes it, does the job, settles the position, and I'm happy. You could also think about a 1-point jump. It's a little bit more complicated, but this definitely is not it, because all the Aji still exist, or all the weaknesses still exist. Black, look for your cutting points. Make sure you keep track of cutting points and bases. That's pretty much the 2 things you need to master middle game. If you have those 2 things and you understand their timings, your middle game is probably going to be really strong. But if you're leaving cutting points and stones without bases, you can get in a lot of trouble. Okay, so you're choosing to attack. So this group is a baseless group. Attack-wise, it's perfectly fine. I like defense before attacking. But if you want to profit, you attack for profit, so you attack to gain something. If you want to profit, the moves you look at are moves that are going to surround the group. If you push up and white runs up, there's nothing here to get. There's a white stone, black stones. There's nothing here to get. Typically, the shapes you look for are going to be the capping moves and shoulder hits. So these are the moves you typically look for, is the caps and shoulder hits. And then you want to say, what is the area that can be built? So probably anything in this chunk of open board. So anything that positively will affect this chunk should be good for you. So I think here or here. So probably these 2 triangles, I think, would give a positive impact on the rest of the game. Okay. I think white is trying to apply 2 stone jumps 3 for a base. But this is not it again. So make sure you really understand the tactics. I'm not positive because I'm making some assumptions about your patterns. So I'm not sure that's what you're thinking. But if you are, this is a shape to make a base. Like down here, black made a base. Okay, that's for eye space. You already have eye space, so you don't need it. You don't need a base. You already have one. So it doesn't make sense to build another base. So then the question becomes, what are we doing? Well, if we're developing the left, then we're ignoring a weak group. So probably want a 1-point jump. If you wanted to play on the left, this is possible, but I would rather attack something. I like attacking things. This is possible, though. But I want to make sure you understand shapes are tools to do a job. Josekis, caps, shoulder hits, knights moves, make a base, 2 jumps 3, 1 jumps 2. All of these are like tools in a toolbox. Okay, you wouldn't try to hammer a nail with the screwdriver. So a hammer is really useful, but if you're trying to like hammer a screw or paint a wall with a hammer, it doesn't make sense to paint the wall with a hammer because it's not what it's used for. So it doesn't make sense. Misremembering or misusing a joseki or misusing a fundamental is kind of like using a hammer to paint a wall. The hammer in and of itself is a good tool to have in your toolbox, but you need to understand when to use it. So there's bases, 2 jumps 3, 1 jumps 2. There's extensions, 4 space jumps, 5 space jumps. There's running away, 1 space jumps. So you need to understand like what the job is, what you're trying to do, and then you figure out what shape or variation or tool will accomplish that goal. The goal is more important than the shape. Mm-hmm. Um, white. Mhm. Uh, so you said white, and did you say the top right? Oh, the mhm. Right here. Um, this is all I see. This is a weak group, so it can't build anything. If black plays right here, you don't have time to make anything because your group is dying. So you don't want to you don't want to try to make a position to from a weak group. You don't want to make a position from a weak group. Typically, what you're looking for in the middle game is something to attack in order to gain control of the empty stuff. Whatever's open next, you want to gain control of it. And it's okay if it becomes no one's, that's fine. But if it becomes your opponent's, that's when you start to get annoyed, right? You don't want it to be your opponent's. So typically, the best strategy is to attack something and get thickness to positively affect this open stuff. And if you can do that, that's great. Now, it's not always that clean, but that's kind of the overall concept is you want the big thing or you want the next open thing. Now, probably, I think this is going to be a common misunderstanding, but I think when you see a position like the right side, a lot of players think they're trying to make territory. But this is actually not about territory at all. Everything's on the fourth line. If we want a territory, we should be on the third line. This is about control. And the big difference is you're aiming to attack in this area. You want to fight in this area. So a lot of players are trying to get this and then they panic when the opponent comes in because they don't know what to do. But this is exactly what the point of these moves are, is you're inviting your opponent in so you can attack and make profit. That is the idea, is you're not trying to make points, you're trying to make profit. Profit is a positive exchange rate. I get something, you get nothing. Points is I make points, and then if you make points, then no one got anything because it's an exchange rate game, not a territory game. Okay, so this is cash, but we are ignoring a weak group. So if your opponent is, if black is a good attacker, then this is going to get less than this because I can make cash later. So let's say you get cash. Well, I can probably make some sort of cash over here, right? So I can attack first. I can attack in Sente first. And then after I get some profit, then I can go make my big move, wherever that may be. Let's say here. So now I've made points to cancel out the points you made, and I have control of the area. So it's much better for me. And I can even go a little bit more aggressive and force you to live, get as many moves as I can, whatever that may look like, and then go make whatever you made. And now I'm controlling the game. Right? So that's kind of that's why defense is bigger than big move. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, so I think the big thing here is just surround for profit. That's the big key. This one stone jumps two. That is for making a base, which is eye space. The eye space right here is unnecessary. Your entire group has a million eyes. There's plenty of eye space in here. So you don't need eyes. So then you have to ask, is this good territory? Well, it's only 6 points. So I don't think it's that much territory at all. I think still caps and shoulder hits are going to be your answer. And then if you can get this and then maybe shoulder hit over here, you're starting to control the open section. And worst case, later, after this settles, then you can go play whatever for territory. This one is not reading. So this is going to be, again, the most important thing in middle game is bases and cutting points. So let's check. Here, 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 here. Nowhere for white to go. So these are very important chance moves that you have to push yourself to not automatically respond to. We automatically want to be like, okay, no problems. But getting more moves on the board is much more valuable than trying to be super solid everywhere. So if you have a variation, if you have good reading, if you can read that there is no cutting point, then all you have done is blocked 1 point. Because if there's no cut, if nothing is going to be in trouble, there is no issue, all you gained was 1 point for an entire move, which is very, very slow. So this is something you have to like force yourself to learn to not instant respond to things like peeps or threats to cut, because not every cut works. And this is where your reading comes in. If you have to read, does the cut work? Yes or no. And in order to improve that, you do nets, ladders.
Just followed.
You do nets and ladders to practice capturing cutting stones. So if you do net and ladder go problems, then your ability to see if the cut works or not will improve, which in turn that translates to having more moves somewhere else on the board. So instead of responding right here, I could have done something else, wherever that may be in the center. Right? I could have done anything up here. So I get another entire move because I can read a second line cutting point. So go problems basically give you more moves in the game. Here, cut. You want to fight because you have all kinds of eyes. You're super connected, super solid, super strong. So you want to cut things and fight. White, I think just connect. Connections are great. Connections are your friend. Connections have good liberties. This has a peep, so it's an empty triangle. So empty triangles are not good defense. Tiger's mouths typically are wrong. Tiger's mouths are the specialty shapes. Tiger's mouth in and of itself is a bad shape because it's just an empty triangle in disguise. Okay, so a tiger's mouth is actually a bad shape. But a tiger's mouth is really good at doing two things. It cannot do one thing very well. If it's trying to fix a connection, then it doesn't do it very well. But if it's trying to fix two connections, it does it really well. Or in some cases, this is typically when you're getting surrounded on the edge or in the corner, you want to fix a cutting point, but you also need eyes. Well, tiger's mouths are really good at making eyes. So when you need eyes, you'll fix a cut with the tiger's mouth. If you're trying to fix two cutting points, you'll fix with the tiger's mouth. But if you only fix one cutting point, then connections are just better. So tiger's mouths are one of these specialty bad shapes until they're not. Okay. This is good. We are checking the cutting point, I'm assuming, because this is, again, the most important thing to master is these cutting points. And of course, white also needs to check their cutting point because these two stones can die. And if you save them, then your group gets cut off. So this is a bit dangerous. So there's 2 cutting points to look out for on this board. Not sure what this move does. I think this is just a waste of it. I don't know if it does anything. Do not peep cutting points. Peeps tell your opponent, fix your problem. Okay? You have potential problems in the future. It doesn't work now, but you have potential future problems. You are forcing your opponent to fix those potential problems. If you are going to force your opponent to fix their problems or potential problems, in other words, a Sente move, you need to get value for it. I have made you stronger, but in exchange, I'm getting this. Okay, but in this case, all you got was 2 points, which is not worth it. You're already alive. You already have eye space and a base, so you don't really get any value by forcing your opponent to fix. So Sente moves are not good in the middle game unless they help you do something. Sente moves in endgame are fine, but Sente moves in the middle game usually are forcing your opponent to fix their problem. I think fix cutting points. There's a bunch of nothing moves right here. White is just getting cut apart, so these are just not good moves. This is getting distracted by that little dot in the center. I guarantee that's why this move exists. I have a pet peeve about people playing this dot just because there's a dot there. This is very rarely the correct answer. It does make a box, but let's ask, what are we doing here, right? What are we doing? If we're trying to run away, running away means go as many lines as you can without getting cut. Okay, so where do I want to run? So I'm going to assume white is running this way to the friends. Okay, how many lines can I go? So if I play right here, I have gone 1 line left with the entire group. If I play right here, I've gone 2 lines, but I have to check the cutting point. This is quite difficult to read, so we're going to assume it doesn't work. But typically, what you're looking for is, can I move a certain direction without getting cut? I think this one can be interesting because we're trying to go left, but also we're looking at eye space in the center. So it's a kind of a double purpose. I'm moving left, but I'm also surrounding space for eyes as well. So these kind of like double ideas are good, but their priority is I'm running away without getting cut. If I get something in addition to it, cool. But my priority is running away without getting cut. So this one is very cuttable because if I just it's a 3-space jump. If I just place a stone right here, then I can cut you. And now you're going to get in a lot of questionable fights. Whether the cut is good or not is a different question, but the fact that you ran with a cutting point gives me the opportunity to be creative. And if I get creative in a way to cut you, then I can attack 2 groups in the center. This is the same as this R8 move. You are forcing your opponent to fix the potential cuts, and you didn't really gain anything for it, so this is a bad exchange. This is surrounding white in the corner, but that's pretty alive, so I don't think it's as important. I think the only thing left to do is to battle it out with the potential for cutting points in here, battle it out with this group, and then start in-game. I think that's probably the only ideas left. You don't really have any issues as black. Maybe there's some issue on the bottom left because your eyes are not perfect. But I think that's pretty much it. If you don't have something to attack, then probably you can just start in-game. Typically, this is the answer. When they play here, you jump, but you already have a friend, so you don't need it. I really want to see some sort of attack. Like this. I want the cuts to be checked. I want the disconnecting moves to be checked. You can also check this 4-space jump. And then after that, I would start looking for endgame, which is going to be second line, second line, second line, second line, second line, second line, and get all these forcing moves as quick as you can. That is a lot of value. Endgame alone, I believe at this level, if you know endgame, you probably can gain 20 points over your opponent, realistically. If you have single digit Q in game, you could probably gain 30, optimistically 40. So in game alone is worth a lot. With that being said, I usually don't teach that first because in game doesn't happen every single game. So if you can't make it to the end, then it doesn't really matter. I just realized I went over on this game, so I'm going to wrap it up here. Hopefully you both found that helpful. Yep.
Review started.
I forget that there's difference between my lessons and the NAOL. I have to like blitz review the NAOL. Okay, let me actually fix the audio real quick. That's not important. Okay, it's not important. Okay. Don't try to cut a one space. Well, actually, no, this one might be good. Okay, so first off, touch Nobi. Touch, I move up and gain liberties. That is the response here. If you do this, you're kind of asking for issues because you only have 3 liberties, and 3 liberties or less is typically where bad things happen. If you have not watched the last game review, because I know some people will probably fast forward to their own game, I recommend it because one of the big keys I talked about was looking for the cutting points, and you need to master the cutting points in order to master middle game. So yes, you're still cut. So yes, it is an issue and very dangerous, but you're supposed to play here in the first place. So having one cutting point is easier than having 2 cutting points. Here would typically be good because you're making eye space while fixing the cut. Unfortunately, unlike the normal shape is typically a ladder, but unlike the normal shape, this puts white into Atari. So it is not, in fact, a ladder. Since it's not a ladder, then you're just cut. So that means this did not do its job of protecting your cutting point. Okay, this is a big move. This one's really small. If you're not going to cut, then go for the open sides. Or surround the stones that don't have any friends. So you can go here, you can go here. You can start attacking things. Okay, okay. Okay, perfectly good, fine. A good habit is when you have a 2-space jump and there's a stone on both sides, go ahead and jump and jump. This just makes the group really strong. There are some potential issues in here that can happen, so this group can be cause you a lot of trouble if there's a stone on both sides. Black still technically owes a move because you have to ask, is it possible for me to get surrounded? It's pretty close, so I would put another move. I think I would keep playing here, actually. Even if white does too, I'm probably going to keep playing. If white doesn't, then probably I'll Tanuki after that. But I think staying on your weak groups to make sure you're not going to die is pretty important. Approaching a 4th line is a great way to play on your opponent's side of the board, so this is okay. If we're looking at cuts and bases, then this one also plays on your opponent's side of the board, but when you run away, you are also attacking a group that doesn't have eyes. So it's a good way to have a double meaning. Oh, sorry, I just noticed the chat. It's very fancy hammer. Oh, okay, that was a while ago. Never mind. Sorry, it's hard to keep up with Zoom, the Zoom chat as well. Okay. This one is a shape I want you to avoid. This sort of L shape, because it has a double peep, this is a good way to die. There are times where you can pull this off in a fancy kind of way, but the majority of the time, this shape is going to get you killed. This is going to cause a dead group. This double peep doesn't really have a good response. So typically you don't do it. Rather, I think here is the one you want because this is actually a lot easier to handle. There is a cutting point here, so it's not perfect. But typically, to do that, you see how this stone gets damaged on white. Typically, white has to hurt themselves to force this cut. So typically, it's not an issue. But if you're worried about it, just run away. Just run away. It's fine. But this one is a very dangerous shape. If you have a 1-point jump and you need to move, let's say up or down in this case, then the move is going to be a knight's move from both stones. This is known as the dog's face. The reason is if your opponent tries to cut it, it's actually not cuttable because it's connected with the tiger's mouth. So this is the way the 1-point jump moves sideways. Okay, is the dog's face. If you play this L shape, this is a really annoying weak point. Not impossible, but really annoying. In this case, you can't make the dog's face because both white's on the both sides, so just run away. Touch, respond. Respond to the touching moves. This will save you a lot of headaches. If you leave stuff with 3 liberties, you can get in a lot of trouble. I do like that you know the cap, but you attacked it from this side, which is fine. So be consistent. Be consistent with your direction. Capping is a good way to attack. I'm very happy that you know this, but be consistent with the direction. Okay. This is nice for this area, but corners are bigger than the side. So you have made a very negative exchange rate. This is much better for black. Because I can still invade this. Like, I can still go in here. And for the other chat, I can't focus on... this is a kind of a blitz review, so I can't really answer every question that I see. That's cool. Yeah, I have 20 minutes to review each game, so I can't really answer every question. Okay. Technically speaking, this is a bad habit, but it gets rid of a lot of issues. So if you're strong, then they're weak, right? This might do your idea better. It makes sure you don't have any cutting aji, but it's also surrounding the blackstone. Technically, you're probably okay, but I don't hate defense moves. Aggressive defense is really cool. Maybe this is a better way to do it. And then something like this. The idea is you want to fix whatever issues you're trying to fix, but see if you can do it in a way that also attacks. But anyway, I don't hate that you're looking out for your cutting points. I think that's a good habit. Probably this is not the best way to do it, but don't hate the habit. You have to unsettle before you surround. I know I just said don't do this, so I'm going to place a stone here. I think it might work, but let's just not be fancy. Unsettle, then surround. Unsettle means to take away like the efficient eye space. So if white goes, or if black goes right here and you try to keep black out, like you see how black's making a lot of eye space very quickly? You have to take that away and then surround it to make a very powerful attack. Black, I think learn the slide here and here. When you're trying to get eye space, this is a good way to get under a 4th line stone. So this is a really good move to try to like steal some eye space. If this does not connect, it is not good. Because, oh, no, don't do that. Because you're damaging your outside stones while trying to live. Try to live in a way that doesn't damage the other stones. Pushing a diagonal is typically helping your opponent connect. So you need to have a good reason for it. If you're not cuttable, then you're not really helping yourself in any way. And I think you also missed a big chance to cut your opponent. The middle game is all about cuts and bases, which the majority is usually cuts. That's usually what leads to dead groups. So you need to learn to spot these cutting points. If you want to block here, here is the easiest. Here's a little fancier, but also works. This one does not have a good relationship with this stone. So if I go up right here, and then turn right here, and then up right here, you see how this is a really ugly looking shape that I'm just walking through all of your stuff. So this sort of shape right here doesn't have a good relationship. So typically it's not the right answer. And this is probably something I think a lot of people probably struggle with, which is understanding what shape is. Shape is just movement. How you move around the board and do your job. So if your job is to surround your opponent while staying strong, because you want to attack with strength. Strength is usually not having cutting points, having lots of liberties and having strong connections. That's usually strength. And then you want to have strength in a way that is surrounding their weak group or their group without eyes. So now let's find a way to move in a way that does that. So a Nobi is a good way to stay connected and it's surrounding our opponent. So this would be a shape to do what we're trying to do, which is surround with strength. Okay, so whenever you're thinking shape, you want to think movement, and you use shape to do a job. Shape can be good for one job, but not for another. So make sure you understand the pros and cons of certain shapes. Knight's moves can be good for attacking, but not for defense. But Dog's Face, technically a Knight's move, is not cuttable, and a Knight's move is cuttable. So a Dog's Face is good for defense, but a Knight's move is not. So it's a little tricky, but the idea is you want to understand that it's movement. I don't quite understand this one. I'm going to go just a couple minutes more because I did go over on that first game. And I want to give them as much value as I can as well. I think the big key here is you're leaving a lot of cutting points. So I want to say that's the big thing to work on. Black, I think, is also leaving a lot of cutting points. Just learning how to spot these is very important. This is endgame. I'm not sure what the reason is because we're not on a call or anything, but my expectation is either you're expanding eye space when you're not surrounded yet, or you're playing endgame and the open section is too big to play endgame. In order to understand how small it has to be, I typically tell my students, if the area is smaller than 1 center square, then you can play endgame. If there's no weak groups.
Serious Senor just followed.
If there's no weak groups and the last open section is smaller than this square, then you can start endgame. That's usually what I tell my students. If you needed a base, this would be good, but you already have one, so I don't know about the timing. I just want to start fixing stuff, so I'd love to go like right here. Everything's alive now. All of my stuff is alive, except for this. This is annoying. But white gets damaged if they try to cut, but maybe I don't know that. So maybe I'll try to fix here first. And fix, I don't know. I would start looking to fix everything and then start trying to do stuff. Okay, I'll end it on this. I love telling my students to throw a stone at the 3-3 because you never really learn how this stuff works or doesn't work if you never play it. So I'm all for this move. Technically, this is a bad move. But if you don't know why it's bad, then you need to play it. You need to learn, right? So I'm all for this. There's a ton of stuff to learn at the 3-3. When you're looking for shape, look for diagonals and tiger's mouths. And then here, you can technically make a co. If they fall for this, you can technically make a co. I don't even have time. I couldn't do this in an hour. I couldn't tell you everything in here. There's a ton of stuff to learn in here, so I'm all for you trying this and experimenting. Just keep in mind that with the diagonal, typically this is not good. However, it's good to learn. You need to learn how all that works. And then once you understand what works and what doesn't, then you'll learn when the outside becomes strong enough, then the inside does work again. And so you'll learn that timing only when you understand the variations in here. So I'm a big fan of experimenting with these. There's a lot to learn at the 3-3. Okay, so let's go to the last game. That is a giant rank gap.
Review started.
Yeah, that's just an unmanageable rank gap. Okay. I was about to say I recommend small knights, but then I looked and we're single digit Q. I'm like, oh, never mind. Forgot. Forgot for 2 seconds. Okay. Don't do that. Defense first. Save your stone. Just stay strong. Learn how to play defense. This is how you die. Especially if you're facing someone 10 ranks stronger. If I'm facing someone 10 ranks weaker, I'm going to cause as many weak groups to happen as possible because I know I can fight better than they can. So if we have 2 weak groups each, if we both have 2 weak groups, I'm going to have the advantage because I can read better. So of course I'm going to cause something like that to happen if I have a rank advantage, right? So this is a very dangerous plan. Staying solid and focusing on your basics and your timings is pretty much the best chance you have to keeping the game close. If you get into a very difficult fight, it is incredibly likely you're going to die. White, this is a little too passive because of the connection to Suji. It's not impossible, but I would be more aggressive. I guess I just showed you that one, but I would at least try something here. Maybe not. It's a difficult response, I guess. I don't know. Maybe here. I don't know. Like, just keep black cutting. It should work out. I don't see how this doesn't work out. But yeah, I would probably just go like super complicated and just win on the reading. Okay, cut. Okay, so let me explain white's move first because this probably doesn't make sense for black. The idea is white wants to surround, but there is this nasty connection to Suji. Something like that, and sometimes you can push through like that. So there's a lot of nastiness here to worry about. There's also some fancy ways of doing it, like that. Typically, this is not good because the Minuki is really big. But anyway, there's a lot of potential for bad things to happen. So white played here in order to prevent any sort of shenanigans right here. And then white is planning to surround you, is my expectation. Like here or maybe here. But typically, touch Nobi. So this should be your response regardless. Don't just give up groups. It's a bad habit. This move is really slow, but it's important to understand why. This move is typically good if you need eye space. If you need to settle. In other words, if a stone's by itself, let's look down here, right? If a stone is by itself and your opponent is about to pincer it, this is a great way to settle a single stone. One stone jumps 2, it's not cuttable. It gets an eye almost immediately, and it's a very nice way to play defense. You're getting eye space. But in the top left, you already have eye space in the corner. Right? You're already strong. You already have eye space. So you don't need more eye space because you're already alive. Instead, what you want is to spread your control. So usually you do that with extensions. I think here, I'm actually going to recommend force space jumps. Force space jumps usually lead to easier variations. So let's say I play an extension from the star point. What I'm threatening is control over this section. This is not going to be my points. That is not what it means. It means I want to attack white in this area. I want white to invade somewhere so I can start attacking them in order to make a positive exchange rate. So typically, if you don't need a base, then you want to set up a position to attack with. And once there are weak groups on the board, you want to stay on those weak groups because the fighting is more important than anything else. Okay, so this one, white is getting control while black is making 4 points at a time. So it's going in white's favor. This is a very nice one. Since white is right here, I think a 4 space might be easier. This lets you still have a 2 space jump for that base. And if white takes it away, then you can kick and jump. That is a way to handle this move. But it's not like this is unplayable. Don't high approach. You want to low approach star points. High approach can give a very large corner. If I go like right here, you are giving me a very large corner for an undercut base. Okay, this is a lot of cash for the star point, and you don't even have a full base yet. So typically, like, I'm pretty sure you could do your entire go life without ever needing a high approach move. I don't think this move comes up nearly often enough. Maybe one in a couple thousand games. Maybe there's a good chance it'll be useful, but typically, just low approach. It leads to variations that are easier and more fundamental. Okay, I would play a 1 space jump because I want to keep my stones closer to their weak group so that I can keep attacking them rather than just making some more points because I want to attack. If there's no weak groups, assuming that you're considering that fine, jump. Get more control over your section. Or destroy your opponent's section. You can invade, destroy your opponent's control, or reduce in order to destroy your opponent's control. Okay, this is an idea, basically. This is a shoulder hit, which says, I want to build this area, but there's a stone looking right there and a stone looking right there. So I think it would be better to build the top left. You want to stay on the biggest one. You could also think about right here, if you're trying to use shoulder hits, this would be a great way to build this section as well. I really don't know. Actually, you're 3Q. Try this stuff. Learn how this stuff works. Start attaching to things. At 3Q, start learning the attachment. Also, cause trouble. You don't cause trouble enough. Cause more trouble. Make it difficult. Make the game difficult. Use your reading. You have 27 ranks of reading, or something like that. So, like, cause a situation that requires reading. You're not using your strength. Diagonal to break in. Strong shape. Also, just go in. Just destroy it. Yeah, I think white's play is a little soft. If you have a stone on both sides of your stone, then develop. So 4th line. I'm not sure why. Connect, keep your eye space. Everything's alive now. White, this is kind of similar to what I just said for black. Shoulder hits are saying, I want to build this section, but I think I would rather build it like this, or something pretty easy to follow up. I don't know, something, right? But I want to be like over here in this section. I want to make black come in so I can attack. This is for white's reading or whatever, but technically you have an annoying opening right here. So it's not really a shut door for your influence. Black, I just want you learning how to make bases. I think that's just the best for this level. There's a cut. Okay. Connections are better than tiger's mouths. Okay. This is a pre-peeped 1-point jump, so it's immediately cuttable. So if you're running away, this just gets cut, so it's not good. I will say you have plenty of eye shape now, so you should be okay. If you're nervous, play here. 100% alive, you can move on. You don't have to worry about it ever again. But if you're going to run, you need to run with a dog's face from one space jump. So if you have a one space jump, play a knight's move from both, creates the dog's face. The dog's face is not cuttable, so that is how a 1-point jump can run. This is a cuttable shape, so it's not good for running. White, this is too soon. Yeah, too soon. Don't worry about it. Just, hey, look, Tengen actually makes sense now. Build this area. Maybe here. Here. I don't know, just build something, right? I kind of like this because it builds while looking at black, so maybe I even go here because I'm reducing while building. But yeah, I think it's too soon to attack one stone. This is one line slower, but it's also surrounding better. Hey, look, dog's face. See? You're not going to die, are you? Nah. But you're not comfortable. Interesting. Just run away. Just try to get to your friends. So you move with connected shapes, diagonals, 1-point jumps, and just try to run away as best you can. Idea here is to cut, cause trouble, and then use the trouble to save your stones. Very complicated, but that's the concept. This doesn't do anything. White, if you're going to fix, just fix. Now there's nothing. Black has nothing. If you're not, then stay in the weak group. I think probably just here is proper. This is scary, but should be possible. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. Maybe it's it. I don't know. I would read. White, you're thinking. You can read. Just read. You can probably go more aggressive. Okay, that one's too aggressive because now you have a cutting point. Yeah, you got to check these cutting points. So here, and then knight's move. Much better, much different result. Black, push and cut. If you're surrounded, try to make life through the cutting points or make eyes. What? Why? There's a dragon right here, ready to be killed. Dragon Slayer title is really cool. Go after it. This cut and this peep are the two issues. So probably I'm going to go here and try to get time to fix that. And if I read that there's too many issues, then I'll just fix. And then probably my opponent's just going to live. I don't know. It's complicated. But I would definitely not Tanuki. That is way too passive. This is very large, but like your whole group's gonna die, so it's not worth it, right? Maybe it is. Dang it! This is so annoying. Still, I would try to Tanuki because the whole game's gonna be lost if this dragon dies. Okay, nice. Live through the cutting points. Good. Okay, white. You did prioritize the dragon, which is good, but you didn't need to lose these 3 stones. This was unnecessary. So you can improve your attacking quite a bit. Attack with solid connections and be more severe with your attacks. So you need to be like, surrounding them more in their face, I guess. Don't let them have such easy escape routes. And also attack more. You took a while to attack, and arguably, I guess this is an attack, so you attacked one time, but I think you had a couple other chances that you could have attacked. Yeah, I think I recall mentioning a couple things you could have done, but yeah, definitely leaving cutting points laying around in the middle of a fight is dangerous. Like here, you could have just fixed. Black can't connect. There's no connection to Suji. I say that. I say that. I say that. I actually don't know that maybe there is, but still, that cut down there is very large. So yeah, you can just sacrifice it and win it, but I'm comparing a 3Q to a 13Q, so 3Q standards, you should have not lost these. I think you could have had an easier attack. Ooh, nice. Nice. I don't think it works, but it's cool. Oh, I love how much trouble black is causing. This is super creative and super good defense. Well, I say defense. Yeah, it's super creative play, though. I really like it. No, you don't have to do that until you're in Atari. Oh, wait. Take the eye. Sorry, I forgot about eyes for a second. White is dead, right? Am I just dumb? Like, what do I do? I think white's just straight up dead. Like, how could this live? Oh, wow, what a blunder. It went from white is killing a dragon to white's group died. That is like probably like a 60 or 70 point difference. All from like the cutting Aji. Holy crap. Oh man, what a reversal. Oh, and I'm out of time for the review. No, how does this end? White by resignation? What? What? No, I think you might have miscounted. Yeah, you miscounted. Oh no! Oh no! You overvalued white's position. Oh man. Oh, maybe you misread this life and death. Oh, that's so unfortunate. Okay, I probably need to give this room to someone else. So I'm going to go ahead and leave the Zoom call, and hopefully you guys found it helpful. I don't have more. Mine is done. I'm not sure. Is Batch streaming?
All right, so first game here for the season
I don't know what season it
whatever
is.
of NAOL.
I have no idea what the season is. Oh, he's not streaming.
Sorry, one double-digit Q versus an 8Q today. Fine. Opening.
I have to
stuff's
stream
fine. We're
Bat
doing some
stream now?
Closing stuff. That's fine. We're blocking extensions. That's okay. This is a little bit complicated. That impossible to play by intent of the imagination, but it is very, very difficult because you had an opportunity to just calmly take points, and instead we're gonna be giving up the top. Into the 3-3, no eek. Okay. So easiest thing to do here is go into the 3-3. They'll probably block you this way.
Okay. I would stream this, but I've been working since 6:30 this morning. So I've been working for the last 12 and a half hours. I just want to be done. So as much as I want to like support Bat's streaming and teaching, I want to be done with work for the day. What is you get one question. What is your question? And then I want to be done. 12 and a half hours of work is my limit. And I'm uploading the video to YouTube while you are typing. Speaking of, did you guys see the new Clossius approach video that got released this morning? I recorded a new one for the first time in several years. For 5Q to 1 don. Nope. Not a lesson. It's an AOL. Copy. I'm not looking at chat just yet. I have to send this VOD to the NAOL. Otherwise I don't get paid. It's a very expensive email to miss. Okay. Close that. Okay. Subscribe for this one here now. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. What is your question? What question did you have? I appreciate the offer, but I'm not going to do a whole nother review. Twitch takes 50% of a sub. That is $2.50 for likely another 30 minutes of work after a 12 and a half hour work shift. So I'm willing to answer one question. I'm not willing to do another review. Not today. Not today. Yeah, but like $5. Not today. Not today. I'm too tired. I've been up since 5:30 this morning, and I've been working for 12 and a half hours. Different day, happy to review. Today, I just want to be done. I just want to be done working. No worries. No worries. The effort is appreciated. I am just really tired today. But let's go ahead and raid someone. We can do Loving Sun. I don't know what that is. Is that the Hanguk one? Oh, I hate these freaking ads. Alright, who are we gonna raid? Ooh, Dallin and Paige are in this one. Oh! Oh no! He's about to raid... Okay, we're raiding Loving Sun. Alright. We got a double raid. It's a double raid. Okay. With that, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you Friday at least. I don't know what tomorrow is. I haven't looked. Should not pull that up on stream probably. I'll see you when I see you. Have a good one.